Imagine carrying tons of stone, food, or timber without the wheel. That was life before this revolutionary invention. Every massive stone block dragged across the ground, every harvest carried on human backs, every journey limited by what you could physically bear. Now picture this, thousands of years ago, someone watching a round log roll downhill had a moment of pure genius that would forever change the course of human history. In the Neolithic period, more than 5,000 years ago, humans were making their greatest transition ever, from wandering nomads to city builders. These early settlers faced an enormous challenge. How could they transport harvests, building materials, and even people across growing settlements? The answer came in a form so brilliantly simple that it's easy to overlook just how revolutionary it truly was. The wheel. This wasn't just a convenience. This single invention didn't just make work easier, it accelerated the rise of the first great civilizations. Think about it. Without the wheel, the pyramids might never have been built. The sprawling cities of Mesopotamia might have remained small villages. Trade routes spanning thousands of miles would have been impossible. The wheel literally set humanity in motion. And here's something fascinating. Archaeologists believe the very first wheels weren't even created for transportation. They were pottery wheels. Someone, somewhere, looked at that spinning disc and thought, what if we use this for something bigger? That moment of inspiration sparked one of the happiest accidents in human history. If you love uncovering the mysteries of ancient empires and the inventions that made them possible, give this video a like, subscribe to the Dawn of Humankind channel, and don't miss a single episode. Because trust me, the story of how a simple circle of wood changed our world forever is just beginning. History's greatest innovations often happen by accident, and the wheel might be the most fortunate accident of all time. Contrary to what many believe, the first wheel wasn't created for transportation at all. It was born in a humble potter's workshop during the Neolithic period. Picture this. Around 7,000 years ago, Neolithic artisans were searching for better ways to craft their pottery. They discovered that placing clay on a flat, rotating stone disc allowed them to shape vessels with incredible precision and speed. These primitive pottery wheels revolutionized craft production, but nobody immediately saw their greater potential. Then, somewhere in ancient Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, someone had a moment of pure genius. Perhaps they watched a heavy log roll down a hill, or maybe they observed how their pottery wheel spun with such little effort. Whatever sparked their imagination, this anonymous innovator thought, what if we could use this spinning concept to move heavy objects? And just like that, the transportation wheel was born, not as a grand invention announced to the world, but as a practical solution to an everyday problem. Someone took the principle of the potter's wheel and reimagined it completely. The earliest wheels for transport were likely solid wooden discs cut from tree trunks, attached to a fixed axle. Simple, yet revolutionary. Here's something truly astonishing. The oldest wheel ever discovered wasn't found in Egypt or Mesopotamia, as many might expect, but in Slovenia. This wooden wheel, along with its axle, dates back more than 5,000 years. When archaeologists unearthed it from the Ljubljana marshes, they were amazed by its sophisticated design. It wasn't primitive at all, but rather the work of someone who thoroughly understood the principles of woodworking and physics. But perhaps even more fascinating is what happened, or rather didn't happen, in the Americas. Despite their remarkable achievements in mathematics, astronomy, and architecture, ancient American civilizations like the Aztecs and Maya never used wheels for transportation. It's one of history's greatest mysteries. They clearly understood the wheel's concept. They crafted beautiful wheeled toys for children, with animals mounted on tiny rolling platforms. Yet they never scaled this technology up for practical transportation. Why would civilizations capable of building massive pyramids and developing complex calendar systems ignore such a useful tool? Was it the challenging mountainous terrain, the lack of suitable draft animals, or perhaps cultural and religious reasons we still don't fully understand? The wheel's story reminds us that innovation isn't always a straightforward path. What seems obvious to us today was revolutionary, even unimaginable, to our ancestors. And sometimes the greatest breakthroughs come not from trying to change the world, but from someone simply thinking, there must be a better way to do this. Picture this, a dusty path stretching across an ancient landscape, the early morning light casting long shadows as a procession of wooden vehicles slowly moves forward, pulled by powerful beasts. This wasn't some futuristic vision. This was humanity's first traffic, and it revolutionized our world forever. With the invention of the wheel, ox carts emerged as our first true vehicles. Just imagine the monumental shift in human capability. Before wheels, our ancestors struggled to move heavy objects by dragging logs underneath them or simply using brute human strength. But suddenly, with the humble ox cart, everything changed. Think about the sheer wonder that must have swept through communities when they first witnessed these contraptions. A single farmer with an ox could now transport loads that would have previously required 20 men. The impossible became possible. Those massive stones at Stonehenge, some weighing more than 25 tons, could now be moved across miles of countryside. The Great Pyramids of Egypt, with blocks weighing 2 to 15 tons each, could be transported from distant quarries to construction sites. But here's something fascinating that many people don't realize. The earliest ox carts weren't just practical tools, they were status symbols. Archaeological evidence from sites in Mesopotamia shows that wealthy merchants and nobility would decorate their carts with elaborate carvings and precious metals. Imagine the ancient equivalent of a luxury car rolling down the dirt paths of the world's first cities around 5,000 years ago. These early vehicles created a need for better pathways too. As traders began moving goods between settlements, the first roads emerged, rutted paths worn into the earth by countless wooden wheels. In fact, archaeologists can still find these ancient wheel ruts preserved in stone in places like Malta and Turkey, silent testimonies to the bustling ancient highways of 4,000 years ago. And just like modern traffic, these early transport networks had their share of problems. Clay tablets from ancient Ur tell us about arguments over right-of-way and complaints about ox carts blocking narrow city streets. One Sumerian text even contains what might be the world's first recorded traffic complaint, with a city official bemoaning carts that crowd the thoroughfare from sunrise to sunset. The social impact was equally profound. Before wheels and ox carts, most trade happened locally. You couldn't easily carry goods very far on your back. But with animal-drawn vehicles, merchants could now travel between cities and regions. This created the first long-distance trade networks, spreading not just goods, but ideas, technologies, and cultural practices. Picture ancient Mesopotamia around 3,000 years before Christ. Cities like Uruk and Ur, connected by dusty roads with constant streams of ox carts carrying grain, textiles, pottery, and metals. With carts came the need for drivers, road builders, wheel makers, and cart constructors. Entirely new professions emerged virtually overnight. The military quickly recognized the advantage of wheeled transport too. The earliest battle carts appeared around 4,500 years ago, eventually evolving into the swift war chariots that dominated battlefields across the ancient world for 2,000 years. Some historians believe the chariot was as revolutionary to ancient warfare as tanks were to modern combat. So the next time you're stuck in traffic, remember, you're participating in a human tradition that stretches back 5 millennia. From those first creaking wooden wheels to modern highways, the humble ox cart started a transportation revolution that continues to shape our world to this day. And speaking of paths to greatness, if you're enjoying this journey through time, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the Dawn of Humankind. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think was the most important invention after the wheel? Was it writing, perhaps the compass, or maybe something else entirely? Share your ideas and let's start a conversation about the innovations that shaped our world. With the wheel revolutionizing transportation, something remarkable began to happen across the ancient world. For the first time in human history, people started building actual roads. But these weren't just simple paths. They were the beginning of something much bigger. Picture this. As wheeled carts became more common, traders realized they needed smooth, flat surfaces to transport their goods efficiently. What started as crude dirt tracks soon evolved into carefully planned routes. The Sumerians in Mesopotamia were among the first to create these early highways, paving the way for what would become an intricate web of trade routes. These roads did something extraordinary. They connected civilizations that had previously been isolated. Imagine merchants traveling for months, their ox-drawn carts loaded with precious cargo. From the bustling markets of Ur to the distant valleys of the Indus, these ancient highways carried more than just goods. They carried ideas, innovations, and cultural exchanges that would shape human history. Think of it as the world's first internet. But instead of digital data, these roads carried spices from India, precious metals from Anatolia, and exotic goods from far-off lands. The famous Silk Road, which would later connect China to Europe, was born from these early experiments in road building. But here's something fascinating. While civilizations in Europe, Asia, and Africa were building extensive road networks, the great Mayan civilization in Central America used wheels only for children's toys. Despite their incredible architectural and mathematical achievements, they never used the wheel for transportation. This shows us how different cultures could take entirely different paths to greatness. As we wrap up our journey through time, let's take a moment to truly appreciate how this simple circular invention changed everything. The wheel wasn't just a tool, it was the spark that ignited human innovation. Think about it. From those first crude wooden discs to the precision-engineered wheels in your car, this invention has never stopped evolving. Every time you check your watch, you're looking at tiny wheels working in perfect harmony. When you board a plane, it's wheel-driven turbines that lift you into the sky. Even the machines that make our modern world possible, from power plants to factory equipment, all rely on the basic principles discovered by those ancient innovators thousands of years ago. Here's a mind-bending thought. Try to imagine our world without wheels for just a moment. No bicycles for children to learn to ride, no cars cruising down highways, no rolling suitcases in airports. Even the chairs in your office would be stuck in place. It's almost impossible to picture, isn't it? That's how deeply this invention is woven into the fabric of our daily lives. The wheel didn't just move things forward, it moved humanity forward. And speaking of moving forward, if you've enjoyed this journey back to the dawn of innovation, help us keep rolling. Hit that like button, share this video with your history-loving friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the Dawn of Humankind for more fascinating stories from our past. From the rise of ancient empires to the mysteries of prehistoric technology, we're here to uncover the incredible tales that shaped our world. Thanks for joining us on this adventure through time. Until our next historical journey, keep your wheels turning and your curiosity spinning. See you in our next video.